Okay, welcome to podcast number 14. And the title of this podcast is a question. Do you need a coach? Now, I hope you're all fit and well and starting to put into place your winter plan. Do you remember in the last podcast we discussed that? So I hope you've had a good listen to that one and you're starting to have success getting yourself ready for winter. It's been a super busy month for us here. We're getting ready for the launch of a new platform, which is something I'll tell you about later. But also, I've been doing a lot of reflecting about what it is to be a coach, how I can serve people better as a coach in my roles as a fitness coach, a success and life coach, and also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach. What I love about coaching and these different types of coaching that I do is they have complete transferable skills. All right, so they have their own sort of disciplines and certain knowledge that has to go with those types of coaching. But I love the fact that everything I do is geared towards coaching, helping develop people, helping develop myself through the kind of channel of a coach and a teacher. So what I thought, as I've been sort of pondering on this over the last good few weeks, how I can be a better coach, how I can develop myself to be able to serve people better as well, is I thought actually maybe some people don't really even know what a coach is. They don't really know how to utilize a coach. So we obviously automatically think of sports coaches, for example. We might know what a boxing coach would do or an Olympic athlete's coach, but they might think, well, that's not for me. You know, I'm not a specialist athlete, an elite level athlete. Why would I need a coach? So I think the podcast I'd like to outline what a coach actually is, and also try and highlight, what you might be able to get if you did use a coach, and if you actually need one in the first place, like the question I asked at the title of this podcast. So, one of the things as a coach, I think is someone that is able to make people see what they potentially can be rather than what they are currently. So a lot of the time people come and they might have some certain goals, but they either might not believe those goals, and a coach can kind of help people see what they can achieve and what reach for higher goals, ask questions, maybe sometimes difficult questions to get them to kind of really think ahead about what they really want from life, even if it is much bigger goals. And it's also hard to get an accurate perspective as an individual. So a coach can also give you that different perspective, and that's really good as well. So let's have a look a little bit more about what a coach actually is. Now, for me, when someone asks that question, and this is a question I've been asking about myself as well, what do I do as a coach? The most simple kind of metaphor that I can give really is a coach is a bridge, or maybe someone that helps someone else build bridges. And what I mean by that is, if we think about the metaphor of like a ravine, a valley, and a bridge that would span over the top of it. And why do we build that? Well, we build it because it's an easier path, isn't it, than having to walk all the way down to the bottom and climb all the way up. So if we think about that as maybe knowledge or a skill gap, for example, or a knowledge gap, then when we start to set a new goal and we have to do something that is difficult, something that we might not know exactly how to do in the first place before we take that sort of first step on that journey. As we start to get into that, we start to descend into what you could call a knowledge gap. And we descend right to the bottom of that until we get to the very bottom of the valley. Now at this point, it's a really daunting place to be. You've kind of got all the way to the bottom and you've realised, oh crap, how am I going to get out of here? I don't really know what to do. It's steep getting out of here. It's going to be hard work. It's daunting. And a lot of people can spend their time then down in the bottom of the valley, trying to get back up the other side, scrambling up the other side, giving up, having to start again, slipping back down, and just trying to overcome obstacle after obstacle. And it can be quite daunting. And some people might never really get to the top, or might not even, they'll just quit and never even bother trying again. And that might be you if you're listening, or it might be some other people that you'll know. When it comes to fitness, it's a really good example of people where they say, oh, I've tried doing diet, so what's the point? I've not done it before, there's no point, I can't do it again. And that's definitely not the case. It's just probably that they didn't have the right knowledge to be able to build a bridge rather than having to climb hard up the other side and just work hard. It might be that people have done it before, but it just took them ages. It took them so much longer because they had to work it out and they had to graft and they had to make all the mistakes themselves. And it's taken years and years and years until they can get to the other side, and it's not necessarily a pleasant experience. And they'll feel awesome when they get to the top because they've done it. But nonetheless, a coach can help bridge that gap and make it much easier. It can help you build that bridge, I would say, to the other side by helping you see, before we even step foot down, down the deep descent to get to the bottom, looking at strategies, looking at ways that we can plan and build to get across that gap, and then obviously make the whole thing much easier. And also that kind of skill set can then be applied to any other knowledge gap that we do. So once we can build bridges, we can build them again. So that's one kind of way that I try and help people visualize what a coach can do. They can also infuse passion in people, right? They can ask questions, they can look at people's why they might want to do these things, tap into the reasons for why they want these goals, and that can help bring passion, it can help bring growth, it can inspire people. And also in some cases it can also bring a massive amount of safety as well, especially when we're looking at fitness coaching, people lifting heavy weights and things like that. But with safety, it might also just mean, stop people making mistakes. So let's narrow in the different types of coaches. Now, there are loads of different types of coaches, and you can go into all these different specialties. But when it comes to Fit to Thrive and myself, there's two main areas really that I look at coaching. Obviously, the jiu-jitsu coaching is one thing, but that's done in an academy under my professor, and that has a syllabus, and we follow that syllabus, so on and so forth. But when it comes to Fit to Thrive, the business, we really offer two types of coaching. We offer fitness coaching, and we offer life or success coaching, sometimes called strategy coaching as well. So let's look at the first one to start with then, so fitness coaching. So what can a fitness coach do? Well, first and foremost, one of the things a fitness coach can certainly do is help improve with technique. So most people can go to a gym and they can lift weights, but what happens a lot of the time is they will do it for a bit and they'll end up hurting something. Maybe their back gets tight, or they hurt the back, or they hurt a knee or something like that. And what it means is then they can't train for a few weeks, and then they lose a bit of momentum, and by the time they get back to the gym it might be a month and they try again, and this thing keeps happening. And what they don't realize is that a lot of that will be down to just bad technique. Okay, maybe trying to lift too heavy too early, but a lot of the times it's actually just the movement patterns. And a fitness coach can assess, can watch what you're doing, and then can help work on your technique to mean that whether it's something geared towards a sporting event, whether it's just something in the gym, whatever it might be, they can help improve that technique for you. And that's massive, because that means that they, again, rather than you having to figure it out, they can help straight away give you the shortcuts, give you the cheat codes, and say, right, make sure you push your knees over your toes, make sure that your butt sticks back, okay, make sure that your head is up, make sure your spine is in line. All these different sort of coaching points that they will give you during a session. That's priceless. They'll also give you exercise programs, right? So one of the things we do for people is we can look at what their goals are, we can look at what they're currently doing, and so on and so forth, and we can build a program which is designed perfectly to take you through all of the stages that you need to go through to get to your end results, and do it in the right way, not too quick, not too slow, covering all aspects of fitness. And that means that you can follow that program, and then it can be adjusted as you go along, and we can change that program as you move into different parts of your fitness, or you might change into different types of sporting events. Whatever that is, they can give you an exercise program to follow. They can also give you nutrition advice, right? So most level 3 PTs, fitness coaches, they will be able to give you proper nutrition advice. Now, when I say nutrition advice, that means that they can give you advice based on the current advice from governing bodies. So that means that they can look at what you're eating currently, they can suggest things that you might want to add, things you might want to remove, and they can tell you what the current guidance is saying, and a lot of the time that's enough for people. And we can look at the amount of calories you're eating and advise that you might want to up those calories or down them, or include more protein or more fats or more carbohydrates, whatever it might be. That's something that we can give you as qualified nutrition advisors. What we can't do is we can't go above that level, and the next thing a good fitness coach, a good instructor should be able to do is they should be able to signpost you to specialists. So like anything, it's really important to know your strengths, but it's equally important to know your limitations. And this is something that's missed massively in the fitness industry. And I hear fitness coaches telling people about intermittent fasting, telling people about ketogenic diets, and telling them that they should go on these different types of diets, so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, those kind of things are for a specialist to recommend and to advise people to do. And understanding limitations means that you should know where your qualification starts. And even if you have personal preferences and you've got examples of things that work for you, you can mention that kind of thing. But really what you should be looking to do then is we should be looking to signpost them to someone, if they need that, more of a specialist. Let's say a dietitian or a nutritionist. So someone that can actually then write diet programs for people, which is something a nutrition advisor cannot do. So what I mean by that is actually tell you exactly what you should eat, when you should eat it, and write that program for you. That's not a nutrition advisor, that is a dietitian or a nutritionist. And that's where I would, especially if someone's got a certain condition, a health condition, at that point I should be recommending to a specialist. That falls out of my qualifications, and therefore that is a strength of mine. I am able to understand my weaknesses, and I'll recommend them to someone else. A fitness coach massively is there as guidance and education. Now, originally the sort of PT, the personal training qualifications, the gym instructor stuff, was all designed really to educate people and empower people to get into fitness. And that's what we should be doing. It's not just a case of, you come to a session, we tell you what to do, you follow blindly, and you keep coming back. What we should be looking to do all the time, and it's certainly what Fit2Thrive is massively about, is empowering people to be able to then make informed decisions about their health and well-being, and being self-sufficient, to be able to use good fitness advice to get the goals they want for the rest of their life. So we're definitely there as educators and to guide people in the right direction, okay? Making sure that they're making healthy choices, giving them different options, informing them of the pitfalls of doing other things, especially in a world where everyone lives online, and we're just seeing people basically selling all sorts of nonsense about slimming teas and pills and certain diets that can burn fat from certain areas of your body, and you've got fad diets and all sorts of stuff going on, and there's so much misinformation, but it's all presented like fact, and it's all presented by these beautiful people that have basically spent 3 hours in makeup. They've not eaten and drunk anything, so you can see every muscle popping. They've got fake tan on them, they've got a ton of lights, and they're sort of sold like, I just woke up this morning and all I do is I drink this herb tea. It's a very kind of confusing place out there. So definitely at Fit2Thrive, and any fitness coach really should be looking to guide and educate you into a healthier way of life. And also, because of all that stuff, we can help speed up improvements. So rather than people having to discover it themselves, and that takes years, decades possibly, if they had to do all the research themselves, or they might never even start, that's where we can help you. We can speed that progress up for you, but make sure you do it at the right speed as well, not just throw you in the deep end from the first day you've tried any fitness. So it's about speeding up the improvements, because we understand that sometimes small consistency over time actually will get the results faster than overloading everything to start with and then getting injured or demotivated and overtraining and then not being able to train. And it's all about small improvements every day, which actually speeds up improvements. So that's a fitness coach. So what else then? So we talked about this idea of a life coach, a success coach, or maybe a strategy coach. Now, that might be someone that just helps you in general areas of your life, and you can certainly, I use my qualifications to apply that into a fitness coaching background, which I feel gives me more depth then to deal with behavioural change and goal setting and all those types of things as on top of my fitness coaching qualifications. But independently as well, sometimes people just aren't sure about where they want to go in their lives, about their careers. It might be other things in their life that are affecting the fact they then don't have time to keep fit and look after themselves. So as a sort of success coach then, again, we can look at strategies for success. We can give people ideas, we can signpost people in the direction of different tools to help with success. And one of those things again can be goal setting. And it can be different ways to organize your day. It could be about journaling as well and having ideas and jotting ideas down. There's a ton of things that a life success coach can kind of work through, suggest for you to try, and you can go away and try them, come back and sort of talk about that in the next session and keep developing something together. They're definitely there for motivation and support. Again, having someone to talk to is a form of support and motivation as well, because they can ask questions and they can kind of get you excited by talking about something and making you realize the bigger picture and the fact that the thing that you might want is possible, and there is a way of getting that with the right strategies. And that can be so motivating to be able to come back to another session and know that you've moved forward somewhat, and then be able to discuss that with someone who is also excited for you and has that sort of empathy and can kind of start to help drive you in the right direction as well. And that's also so good. And the beauty of that person as well is that you can speak openly because they have non-biased perspective, right? So they're definitely not there to judge. They're there to listen, and they're there to see it from another perspective, ask questions, open questions that might lead you down another mindset, down another path that you might be not have thought of before. With a lot of clients and sort of with the neuro-linguistic programming that I've trained in as well, is they talk a lot about something called the map is not the territory. And I think this is something with perspective, and it's I've talked about it in previous podcasts before, which is the idea that you have a map of your world. Now, if you think about it, maybe you might have a map of if I asked you to draw a map of your local area, and you'd probably draw that fairly accurately with roads and a few pubs and shops and all the rest of it that might be in your area, and you'd be like, well, that's the map of my area. But you might get someone else then who lives literally next door but has a different type of life than you, and would draw that map and include a load of other areas, miss some of the areas that you had, and they would be, maybe if they go to the pub more, they'd know more pubs, and you would know more shops, and so on and so forth. They might go to Asda but not realise there's a Tesco down the road. All those types of things. What you concentrate on is what you're going to remember, right? So your map is not necessarily the same as the rest of the world. It's not a real accurate picture, and a coach can kind of help to open up that perspective and make you understand that there are different perspectives, and kind of ask those questions maybe from a different perspective that will then challenge your thought processes and open your kind of mindset about the different things that you're trying to work through in your life. Another thing with on any type of coach as well, the advantage obviously is you've got the kind of accountability there too, right? So if you know that you've got a session next week, and you know that they're going to ask you, well, what have you got up to? Have you stuck to your plan? How's your eating going? Or if it's a success coach, did you use the strategies? Did you go away and find out the tools? How did you find that process? Usually you'll sort of have some form of homework to do while you're off that you agree that you're going to kind of work on. And that really helps with accountability as well, to keep your momentum. Sometimes if it's just yourself, you can kind of talk yourself out and be like, I'll be all right. But if you know that you're paying for a session, you know that you've got someone that you're accountable to, that can massively help. And lastly, a bit with the perspective as well, you've got a coach can be a sounding board, right, as well. You can talk, and that coach will respond and kind of reflect back what you're saying to them in maybe a slightly different way, or even sometimes in the same way. Just repeat a sentence that you've said, which might have, I'm trying to think of a good example. So a good example would be when people would use particular types of words which tells you very much about how they're thinking about something, but they don't realize that the language they're used is loaded with their kind of their mindset at the time. So, something simple even like, well, I'll try, and you can say, oh, you'll try, and then that person will be like, oh no, I need to do it, I don't want to try, and it's that kind of sounding board, that reflecting back of people's language, the way they sit, which can help you then see how you think and your perspective on it, and can kind of then again open up. And some of those basic things like reflecting something back that someone's saying is a really, really powerful tool. Personally as well, when I've gone through coaching sessions and had that kind of thing, I found that really useful. I'll say a sentence, it's reflected back to me, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe I just said that out loud. I can't believe I don't even realize I was thinking that. Right, well, that changes this and that changes that. So that's another great thing that obviously coaches can do. Now, that's pretty much covers, again, in terms of Fit to Thrive, fitness coaching, success coaching, and what that does. And I don't know if that's something that you are aware of that coaches do. Again, a lot of the time people aren't quite sure what coaches are. It's a word that you see used, or you see life coach quite a bit, and people are like, well, why would I need a life coach? It's just life and I'll just get on with it. But then we all have these frustrations, don't we, where we're like, oh, well, I'd love to do that, but I can't do it, or oh, I'm not sure how to get that job, or oh, I never seem to have the time to do fitness, or I want to spend more time with the kids. And all these things are problems that we might not fix by ourselves because we don't feel like we have time, or we might not make time. And the beauty of having a coaching session then is that for one, you make that time and it's your time, phones are off, you've got, let's say, 90 minutes, and you're going to talk through these problems out loud. It's going to help you goal set, it's going to help you bring new strategies, and you can actually, whatever your goals then might be, it's a really useful tool. And I think having goals is super important, to keep moving forwards. When it comes to the workplace, for example, when they kind of ask people what actually made them happiest, and most people would have thought, well, pay rises, more money, that type of thing. Actually, the thing that makes people happiest in the workplace is the feeling that they're developing, the feeling that they're progressing, and they're growing as a person or within their job role. And that's what coaching is absolutely about, is helping people develop, helping people grow, and keep progressing in their life and feel like they're always moving forwards. And there's nothing wrong with the fact that we can't always do that for ourselves, and that's what coaches are for, and that's why it's now become a big business, because people are realizing that, and they're actually having coaching sessions and hugely enjoying them and finding them super beneficial. And that is, for me, what I love doing in my life, is helping other people realize their kind of goals, their dreams, being part of that. And also the journey is always then developing me as well, because I'm obviously always learning from my clients just as much as they may learn from me. So let's ask another question then, because we talked about the strengths of a good coach, understanding their strengths but also their weaknesses. So what is a coach not? So coaches aren't. Well, on the whole, a lot of coaches aren't teachers. So what I mean by that is, you can be a life, or say a success coach, or even a business coach, and not necessarily understand the ins and outs of the business, or the ins and outs of the subject that the person is kind of within. Because what the coach will be doing is looking to give strategies that would work across multiple businesses or multiple issues in life. So they're not necessarily, now obviously when it comes to say fitness coaching, and we talked about, well, there'd be education and teaching, absolutely, sometimes it could be, but a lot of the time they won't necessarily teach you something, they will just help you discover yourself. They'll teach you that you're not broken, you have all of the capabilities to achieve the goals you want, and they'll help you do that with proven strategies as a coach. They're also not really a mentor. Now, a mentor being probably someone more senior, not necessarily in age, but probably more in experience, okay, that you would work alongside to develop in a similar direction that they may have done, or they would just help take you under their wing and kind of show you how to develop within whatever that mentorship agreement would be. And a coach isn't really a mentor. They don't have to be a senior person. They don't have to necessarily have more knowledge as such. It's more, as a coach, you're more of a collaborator. Like I said, it's someone that would help you build bridges together. You're collaborating, using the client's knowledge coupled with the coach's strategies to get the results you'd want. That's the best way I can try and explain it. Sorry if I haven't done a good job. And lastly, they're definitely not a therapist or a counsellor. Okay, that's something completely different. And again, understanding my limitations as a coach would mean that if I felt like someone needed a type of therapy or counselling, okay, then I would end that. I would basically sort of talk to them during that session about the fact that that might be something that they want to work on, because coaches don't deal with problems from childhood. They don't deal with sort of different types of mental conditions. That is not part of their remit. They should be signposting again to a therapist or a counsellor if the person has sort of strong emotional issues, so on and so forth. That's definitely not something a coach would do as well. So that's just so you know as well what a coach isn't, in case you thought, well, maybe they would help me with that. No, definitely not. So the question goes back then, do you need a coach? Maybe not, but if you're struggling to know what goals to set, then yeah, you might need a coach. They might help you with goal setting. Or do you find consistency hard to achieve? Do you sort of start something and then you never seem to sort of see it through, and then you start again, and it's kind of like a bit like yo-yo dieting people do. They lose a little bit of weight, they put it back on, they lose a little bit, and it just kind of is constantly up and down. That's something a coach can help with. Do you struggle to see your life from a different perspective? Again, a coach can absolutely help you with that. Do you want to speed up your goals? Do you want to speed up your fitness goals? A coach can help you with that. Or maybe you might feel lost with all the confusing information that's around at the moment in social media and just in the world in general. Again, a coach can help you see past that, can help get back down to the reasons why you want it, focusing on your goals, and keep you focused on the things that you want from life, and kind of stop you getting distracted from lots of just tempting things. Or do you struggle with motivation and enthusiasm? Again, a coach can definitely help keep you motivated. Enthusiasm, again, give you strategies to keep motivated and keep your enthusiasm up. So if you answered yes to any of those things, then you should consider using a coach. That doesn't have to be, Fit to Thrive. There are loads of coaches out there. If you want to see people face to face and you're not in the sort of West Yorkshire, Leeds area, then you probably wouldn't want to come this far either. That's fine. We do online as well, but there are coaches all over the world in fitness, for life, for business, for success stuff. So have a look. I definitely recommend it's something you should consider. As a coach, it's always good to have a coach. It's someone that I can kind of soundboard off as well and help with my strategies, and I definitely have had plenty of that in my life. So anyway, that's that about coaches. I hope you enjoyed that. So lastly, I did talk about obviously being so busy because we have a launch coming up, and I want to spend a little bit of time now just at the end to tell you a little bit about what that is, because I'm really excited to tell you about it. It's a massive step forward for us, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. So come the 1st of January, that's 1st of January 2023, we're going to launch our new Fit2Thrive platform. Now currently it's over a couple of platforms. So we have our website, obviously, that people come onto and they can learn about us, and they can then look to purchase one-to-one sessions, nutrition, fitness, all that sort of stuff. And they can also pay and join our subscription community. Now that's basically a community where they have online fitness classes provided for them, they have nutrition advice, they have loads of recent research information about health and fitness put in there. They can ask questions directly with our coaching team about any subject within obviously what we talk about. There is social events on. There's a load of stuff going on, and in that community at the minute, that's on Facebook. We use a kind of private Facebook group. So one of the things I kind of decided I wanted to do with the business is try to not have people bouncing all over the place to different sites and different things. And I wanted to try and bring it under one hood. So our website now actually contains all of the community stuff, all of the payment platforms, all of the booking, timetables, events, the works are all going to be under there. And we'll probably then just use a few other bits and pieces. Obviously, we'll keep information going onto our YouTube channel, onto our podcast channel like this one, on Anchor, on Spotify. Those kind of things will still be out there. But the bulk of the community stuff and the 90% of our information for our subscribers will all be on this one site, which is amazing. Because one of the things, I don't know if this might be you or not, but there's kind of a few different issues with using social media. Well, sometimes we say to people, you know, they ask us about it and say, yeah, it's dead simple, set up on Facebook. And they're like, oh, I don't like Facebook, I'm not on Facebook, so that won't work for me. And we have had a few people that just join up to Facebook, you know, just to be on the platform, and that's all they use it for. There's not even like a little face on their you know, on their screen and things like that, and they just do the classes, they still chat and stuff, but they're just kind of, you know, really low key on it. But there's another problem as well, is, you know, you might go, right, I've got 30 minutes, I'm going to go and do one of the HIT classes, let's say. So you log into Facebook and you see 12 notifications in the top right hand corner, and you're like, oh, I'll have a quick look at those, it might be something important. And by the time you've looked through those, you've gone into the rabbit hole of stories and videos and all of the rest of it. You know, you're sort of 20 minutes in and your 30 minutes of workouts not happened. So one of the other things as well is, I think that with the community being all in one platform away from social media, it will really help you people focus and just come straight on, use the platform for what they want, and then they can go off and do their social time as well. So just like a gym, you rock up at the gym, you do your workout, and then you go home and you do your other stuff. And that's what I want it to be like with the Fit2Thrive platform, is you just log in, you can do what you need to do, you can go and chat in the community groups, you can look in the different topics and stuff, do what you need to do, and then obviously log off and go off and do the rest of, you know, the rest of your life. So what does a new platform have then? So it has the same thing as the community in terms of it has a main group where you can chat and we'll put just general information. It has the 10 plus classes that we upload every single week in our timetable, covering all aspects of fitness, from cardiovascular fitness, strength training, HIIT training, functional fitness, yoga, Pilates, stretching, Tai Chi, Qigong. There's a ton of stuff on there, some meditation stuff, some mental balance work as well, talking about how, you know, strategies and things like that. So there's a load of information within that community group, and there's different topics as well. So if you're only interested in a couple of those things, you might be interested in weight loss, you might be interested in, you know, some strength and some cardio and some recovery, then you can just follow those 4 topics and you don't have to see any other ones. You might be interested in all of it and you'll, you know, click all 12 or whatever, but you can pick and choose what your interests are. You can go into those topics, and then there's a separate community within that are discussing in depth more about that individual topic, which means that the general community can just be more chat, and then when you really want to dig into a particular topic, you want more information, you want to ask direct questions, those kinds of things, or you want to just be with more like-minded people that are really, you know, a support group. For example, one of the things we've got for weight loss, we've got a support group for people that are struggling with momentum, they're struggling with accountability. They can go into that group and they can chat in that group, and people that are also struggling, they can talk about what they're struggling with, and someone might suggest an idea that would work for them, and obviously we're in there as coaches as well, helping and supporting each week. And that's just one small topic. We also got walking groups where people can go in there and they can organize walking meetups, and we organize one in our area as well, where people can then meet up and we go on a social, we go for a walk, we have a catch up, something active, something outdoors, loads of fun. We've got loads of different topics on all different types of things. That's one of the bonuses within that community, is we can have smaller communities within the large community, which is ace. Now, something this is new, which is launching for the first time as well this January, is the platform also has courses available. So as I talked about as a fitness coach, something that I really feel strongly about is educating and empower people to be able to make decisions for themselves. I don't want them to need me as a personal trainer for the rest of their life, once a week or once a month. Okay, it's great to get people set up, might write a program for them, but the idea is, as I'm doing that, I'm educating them to be able to do that for themselves. And so one of the things we'll be launching from the 1st of January as well, which is I'm so excited about, is a course called Fitness Made Simple. The idea is it's designed for people that are new to fitness, or maybe people that haven't been in fitness for a long time, or they're nervous about fitness and they're coming back into it. This course is absolutely, if you're either that type of person, this course is designed for you, because the idea is it's a 5-day course, and you will be able to we will guide you through the journey to get started. We'll give you all of the information that you need to be able to start your fitness journey with every bit of information that you would need, and also making sure that you don't have information that you don't need, right? So for example, we're keeping it super duper simple. You're understanding your diet, what's really important, and how powerful having a healthy diet is, but not being distracted by fad diets and getting into all these finer details. Just about getting the basics right. If we get the basics right, yes, down the line we might be able to think about something a bit more fancy, but we get the basics right, we make sure you're eating healthy nutrition, balanced meals, and that's it. Same with the fitness. We could do loads of fancy stuff, but let's just get the basic fitness stuff. Let's find something that you enjoy doing. Let's make sure we're covering all bases of your fitness journey, your strength, your cardio, again, like I said, your functional fitness, your mobility, your recovery, all these types of things. That's in this course. How to build habits, how to set goals, how to there's a ton of things. The 7 whys, we take you through that process to find out, well, why are you on the course? Why do you want to be healthy? Because again, people will give an obvious answer like, oh, well, I just want to look better. But then the next question will be like, well, why do you want to look better? Oh, well, I want to be much healthier. I feel unhealthy most of the time. Well, why do you want to be healthy? Well, because I've got a family history of people that aren't very healthy, and I don't really want to be like that person in my family, say my father or my mother. Well, why don't you want to be like that? And then it goes right down to, you might be, because I've got kids and I don't want to be poorly for them, and I want to be able to see my grandkids and I want to be able to run around with them. We get into this deep layers with this course. It's simple, but it's really effective. Get straight to the point, and it's 5 days. And from the back of that, then you can go onto a 7-day free trial as well for our platform, then for our online community. So it really gives you a nice run straight in, and it empowers you from the start. So you're not going to end up buying all the crap that's out there that people are selling to you. You're also going to get nutrition advice anyway in the group. You can pay for one-to-one stuff, but we also put in lots of general information. The same with the personal training, the same with the success coaching. We also specialise for over 40s. That's something, we're both over 40, myself and Louise, and that's something that we feel really strongly about, because it changes as we get older, especially for women. There's going to be a lot of information about the menopause and how fitness and diet all needs to change around that period. We need to look at life differently and how we work out. So there's lots of going to be on there, and we're going to have loads of micro courses and other courses as well as we go through the next 12 months to 2 years. We're going to be putting lots of extra courses on there for people. So we're constantly developing and building this catalogue of courses to educate our community and our members. And then lastly, we're going to do obviously a load of events and social groups, like I said in the topics. We've got walking groups, we've got question and answer every week, so you can log in once a week. You can come in, there's an hour session, I'll be on that session, and you can basically ask me any questions about your fitness journey, anything you're struggling with, anything where you might need something new, whatever it might be, and people can come on at the end and just have a chat and all the rest of it. So that's quite cool as well. So it's a massive platform. I'm super excited about it. It launches on the 1st of January, and the beauty of it, all of that is £10 a month. That's the idea as well. We want it to be accessible to everyone. £10 a month is what, one coffee a week from, say, Starbucks, £2.50 for a coffee. Most people will buy something like that. That's all it costs, £10 a month, and you get this community with all the online classes, you get free education, there's a ton of stuff on there. So it's really good value for money for that reason. It's designed for people that might not be able to get to the gym, but the beauty of it, all of our classes are designed to be able to be done from anywhere. So you can do them from your front room, you can do them from the office space if you've got a little space somewhere where you can do a workout, you can do it from the gym. Okay, you can do it while you're on holiday in your hotel room or at your beach. All you need is a streaming device that means you can actually see what we're doing, what we're talking about. You can go into the community and chat on there all the time as well. Everything accessible, all from one platform, from your streaming device, anywhere in the world, which is what we wanted it to be. Super accessible. There's no reason why people can't log in and keep their fitness up, which is awesome. So I hope you can pick up on the excitement I've got for this. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. It's something I feel super strongly about. It's definitely one of my main values, which is contribution. And I really feel like something like this is going to contribute to our subscribers. The more the merrier, right? So that's that. So yeah, it's a busy couple of months for me. I hope you guys have got some goals. I hope you guys are moving towards them, staying fit and healthy. So thank you for listening. And on that note, I'll say I'll see you soon. Take care, guys. Bye.